Russell Crowe rescues a kidnapped victim in Proof of Life, one of 6 new movies we'll review this week. I'm Richard Roeper, columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Roger Ebert, film critic for the Chicago Sun-Times. Proof of Life takes place in a fictional South American country where David Morse is an American engineer and Meg Ryan is his unhappy wife, who thinks the dam he's building promotes the anti-ecosystem agenda of a big oil company. They have a fight, and before there's a chance to make up, Morse is kidnapped.
Look, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything.
Enter Russell Crowe as a professional kidnap and ransom expert for a London insurance company.
But we want a proof of life, and we're not paying for it. If there's any good faith, maybe you can start with that.
Okay, Uncle Tio. So you are the one in charge now, huh?
That's right.
Good. Then you will be responsible for the death of Peter Bowman. Oh, gee. You understand me? You are responsible.
Hey, John?
Yeah. It's all right. Just get used to it. It's the way it's done.
Meanwhile, Morse is led through the jungle by his captors, for whom kidnapping is strictly business.
Hey, you stay here. Se necesita tu baño.
Everything leads up to a daring attempt to snatch the hostage from the kidnapper's mountain hideaway.
I know you're in pain, mate. You've got to keep going, okay? As fast as you can. They'll kill you this time, Peter. Stay on this path. This path leads to Alice. This path leads home.
Proof of Life is an ambitious movie that wants to be more than a thriller. It wants to show the Russell Crowe character as a hard-bitten pro who develops a soft spot for the wife of the man he's trying to save. The movie limits their romance to a kiss and some body language, however. A sex scene was reportedly cut, maybe because it seemed more poignant for Crowe to keep his distance. The movie is well acted and the technical credits are impressive, but somehow the passion isn't there. All the elements are present, but they don't achieve critical mass. Proof of Life is an interesting movie, but finally not a compelling one.
It's not compelling, and maybe they should have included the romance, because without the romance, you're not quite sure why he comes back to work with her. And Meg Ryan, who I like a lot, is all wrong for this part. Pamela Reed, who plays the sister of David Morse, has got a lot more spunk, a lot more fire. And Meg Ryan, even when her husband's been kidnapped, she still has time to kind of tease her hair, and she's in the kitchen making nice dishes for everybody, and she's wearing these cute little tank tops, and you don't really feel the angst that she should be having.
I think you're being a little hard on Meg Ryan here. I think that she's trying to carry on life, and of course, there's another subtext there, which is she had a big fight with her husband right before he was kidnapped, so her feelings are very conflicted.
But the problem with that big fight scene, Roger, I think they set that up so that we maybe will sympathize with her more if she has a romance with Russell Crowe. But she doesn't have a romance with Russell Crowe.
She has an unspoken romance. I think they're maybe going for kind of a Casablanca feeling here.
There's definitely a
they love each other, but for reasons involving nobility and restraint, they don't express it. I think it's maybe better that they don't have a sex scene in the movie.
And then the whole thing about this kidnap and rescue mission that Russell Crowe has done, he spends most of his time on the wire with this guy negotiating. They should have had like George Steinbrenner do this, because he could have said, I'm going to pay this much. No, you should pay this much. Well,
it's funny because I'm voting thumbs down on this movie, but I'm not agreeing with a lot of your points here. I think it's fascinating to see how these guys come in as pros in order to negotiate the lowest possible ransom.
But he's this big muscular guy who knows how to wield a gun. He's not a negotiator. To me, it's like, why have Russell Crowe in that role?
Russell Crowe doesn't fit my definition of big and muscular.
Really?
Yeah, have you seen Arnold Schwarzenegger lately?
Well, Russell Crowe's a pretty powerful guy. Okay, we didn't like this movie for different reasons. Our next movie is Pollock, the directorial debut from Ed Harris, who also shines in the title role. Jackson Pollock shocked and seduced the modern art world in the 40s with his abstract expressionist paintings. But his ascension to media darling and museum superstar was slow and torturous. Harris plays Pollock as a drunken, unstable lout who reserved his deepest cruelty for those who loved him, like his wife Lee Krasner, played by Marcia Gay Harden.
You're not just randomly putting paint on the canvas. You're painting something. You can't abstract from nothing. You can only abstract from life, from nature.
I am nature.
If you only work from inside yourself, you'll repeat yourself.
Why don't you paint the thing?
Awed by his talent as an artist, Krasner devotes herself completely to Pollock, hoping to save him from himself and allow his creative genius to flourish.
We are painters, Jackson. We don't have any money. We don't get by. We struggle. But you are a great artist. I believe in Jackson Pollock. And there's you, and there's the painting, and you need.
Jackson Pollock was an American original whose paintings vibrate and sing, but he was also something of an artistic cliche with the hard drinking, the psychological demons, the womanizing, the childish temper tantrums, all of it. Harris captures each of these flaws and wears them proudly like the paint splatters on Pollock's dungarees. His hairline fades and his gut bulges as Pollock declines, but Harris's performance is born in his eyes, at once steely and filled with fear. It's an exceptional piece of work.
Oh, I really agree with you. This movie hits a home run by Ed Harris, both as an actor and as a director, and this is one of the most convincing and persuasive artistic biographies I've ever seen. First of all, it gets the art world right. We really feel that we're looking at a man who is a professional and knows what he's doing and knows how he's doing it. And then we see the characters like Jeffrey Tambor as Clement Greenberg, the famous critic who influenced his career so much. And we see the ups and downs of manic depression and alcoholism. Because after all, this really is the portrait of a man who kills himself with booze and manages to do a lot of painting before that happens.
You know, it's sometimes hard to show a painter in action in the movies because you just show him trying to imitate what the paint really looked like. But Harris has got such a great touch when he's throwing the paint on the canvas and when he's not happy with his own work and when he finally does break through.
I think it's a great movie. Coming up later, Chris O'Donnell and Scott Glenn in the cliffhanging adventure Vertical Limit. Coming up next, The Emperor's New Groove.
You're safe now. Or not.
You top me off, pal? Be a friend? Now, about you finding new work. That's gonna be tough.
Lord Broccoli?
Because you're, I don't know, let's face it, you're no spring chicken.
The bratty emperor of a jungle empire is given a secret potion by his rival for the throne. In that scene, it's supposed to kill him, but it only transforms him into a llama in The Emperor's New Groove, the new animated film from Disney. That was David Spade's voice as the emperor named Kuzco. Sounds like a discount chain. The incomparable Eartha Kitt is his enemy, Yzma, and Patrick Warburton is Kronk, who is Yzma's henchman and personal chef. The llama winds up in the fearsome jungle where he spends a terrifying night.
Oh, for me? Why, I don't know what to say. Hit the road, Bucky.
The emperor-turned-llama is rescued by the only man willing to befriend him, a peasant named Pacha, who helps him even though Kuzco was planning to replace Pacha's beloved home with his own imperial summer cottage.
Don't worry, Your Highness, I gotcha. You're safe now.
Maybe I'm just new to this whole rescuing thing, but this, to me, might be considered kind of a step backwards, wouldn't you say?
Oh, no, it's okay.
That's John Goodman as Pacha there, and the character looks like him, too. Continuing into the world of animation, David Spade's long string of fat co-stars. The Emperor's New Groove is less sentimental and more wisecracking than most Disney movies, and I like the slapstick style it brought to the story. Eartha Kitt contributes a great voice performance as the vindictive Yzma, and Spade as the llama has fun with the notion of an imperial snob who gets his comeuppance.
This is a fun movie, and after a lot of dreary holiday family movies, I was really delighted by this movie from start to finish. My favorite is actually Patrick Warburton, who was Putty on the old Seinfeld show. And he's playing this Kronk guy who's the big henchman, but he also has like a kind of domestic side. He's very proud of his cooking skills. And
his secret desire is to be on the Food Channel instead of running the intrigues in the castle here.
And this has got that nice tradition, too, where there's a lot of things for the grown-ups in the crowd, a lot of in-jokes. They do a whole thing on when you go to places like Bennigan's and they sing that little happy birthday song. There's a tribute to that in here. David Spade, really funny, and John Goodman adds a lot of depth and humanity to his character, and just a delight throughout.
I agree. You know, looking at this movie and also thinking back to Rugrats, it still remains a mystery to me why so many people went to see The Grinch, because that movie, to me, was such a downer compared to the brightness of a movie like this.
Well, I didn't like Rugrats, but I do like The Emperor's New Groove, and I think it's the best family holiday movie this season. Okay, coming up next, Chris O'Donnell leads a race against time and the elements in Vertical Limit. Chris O'Donnell is the boy wonder of the Himalayas in Vertical Limit, a mountain climbing thriller designed to keep you on the edge of your seat Maybe that's the better to dull your senses. O'Donnell plays Peter Garrett, a National Geographic photographer who gave up climbing after a family tragedy, but now his sister is trapped along with a billionaire adventurer and a professional climber near the top of the most ferocious mountain of them all, K2.
Hey, you've never been that high, just staying alive up there.
So we just walk away and forget about him? Is that what you're saying?
We don't even know their exact location. How long is that going to take?
I won't let Annie die.
But even dropping off the rescue team, which includes Scott Glenn as a crazy old mountain man, is fraught with peril. Isabella Scorupco is a climber who looks like a fashion model, and Steve Lamarquand is a wisecracking slacker climber. Don't these people ever safely scale a mountain, take a few pictures, and crack open a bottle of champagne? The collective casualty report among the so-called expert climbers in vertical limit includes broken fingers, frostbite, missing toes, facial cuts, broken bones, death by avalanche, multiple deaths due to nitroglycerin explosions, not one but two noble suicides done in the name of saving other climbers, and oh yeah, there's murder as well. These people aren't adventurers, they're yuppie kamikazes. With its overwrought music and hammy acting and jackhammer medley of impressive but completely implausible stunts, Vertical Limit gave me a headache.
Oh, come on now, Richard. First of all, there's not going to be a movie about them going up safely and having a bottle of champagne. And secondly, if you read the paper, you'll find out that just a year ago, events very much like this took place on Everest with all kinds of professional climbers and other experts being wiped out. And this is a movie
I'm aware of that happening,
gets the job done. I mean, it's not a great movie. It's not as good as Perfect Storm in its portrait of people against the elements, but it's very good as a thriller. And they get up there and they have to get these people out of the ice cave, and the time is running out, and the oxygen is coming down, and the special effects look good, and the stunts are impressive. And what's to complain about?
Well, all the things I just did complain about, and because the stunts are so impressive, it just makes it that much more ridiculous that it's one after another, after another, after another, after another, and you're rolling your eyes at the end, because guys, they're sliding down these cliffs, and then they take their little pick out, and they save themselves at the last moment. I've seen Wile E. Coyote in more realistic
if I were sliding down
if
I were sliding down a cliff, I would take out my little pick and try to save myself at the last moment, too.
I would like to see them next time at least drag a decent script up to the top of K2.
Okay, our next movie is Stayed in Maine, a comedy by David Mamet about Hollywood invading a small Vermont town. The most engaging thing about the movie is its quietly ingenious verbal humor. It's not an insider job like Robert Altman's The Player, but a human comedy about mismatched personalities working together as a production comes apart at the seams. William Macy plays the director, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is the hapless writer, paralyzed by the loss of his beloved typewriter.
Get Mr. White a typewriter. I can only write on manual. I know the feeling.
Typewriter for Mr. White!
You know, that's a lie. That's a real fault. It's not a lie. It's a gift for fiction.
Alec Baldwin plays the movie star who has a weakness for young girls. For example, local girls like the one played by Julia Stiles, who eagerly puts herself in harm's way.
I brought your sandwich.
Thanks, honey. Next time, bring two. Save yourself a trip. People came to see a motion picture.
Hold on.
No. You can go. Page 5. The horse dies. You know, she could be in the movie. She could.
There's a sweet little romance in the film between the writer and a bookstore owner played by Rebecca Pidgeon. She comes to his rescue during a case of writer's block.
Because it's about purity. And then you don't need the nude scene.
Because it's about purity.
Take any two people. Take you and me.
David Mamet is an architect of dialogue that somehow sounds natural and mannered at the same time. State of Maine is filled with wonderful lines. For example, the reason why Firehouse mascots are Dalmatians and not sardines. And Macy's phone conversation where he says, I'm in Waterford, Vermont, and his producer says, where is it? And he shouts back, that's where it is. And all the characters, including Charles Durning as the mayor, Sarah Jessica Parker as an actress, and David Paymer as the producer keep intersecting. I like the way the stories cut back and forth. I also like the closing line, cue the dead horse. Stayed in Maine is lovable and funny, and when you're not laughing, you're smiling.
Anytime you talk about Mammoth, you got to start with just the terrific, fantastic script.
Yeah.
I mean, the writing is so good here. Every character in this movie has some good lines. And you're right, you know it's Mammoth, and there's the way they repeat their phrases a lot, but it still has that realistic feel, and it's so funny. Maybe Best in Show is the only other movie that made me laugh more all year. There's so many good lines. And Alec Baldwin sending himself up as this actor who's so self-involved and worried about being a little too beefy. Sarah Jessica Parker as this bimbo actress who all of a sudden finds God, and she's not going to show her breasts. And one guy goes, she'll show her breasts in a voiceover most of the time. And all of a sudden now, I mean, it just catches these little nuances so well.
I like the way, too, that they handle the movie's so-called plot, which involves the old mill.
The old mill.
And then you don't need the old mill, even though they've come there for the old mill. But then the old mill burned down. And it just shows how oftentimes when you get on a movie set, the plot, no matter how good the movie is going to be, just simply sounds ridiculous.
The first thing they do is fire the writer when they show up. Just a fantastic movie. Okay, coming up next, if you're suffering from election year burnout, you'll want to check out my video pick of the week.
Who put you up to this?
What do you mean?
You just woke up this morning and suddenly decided to run for president?
Ebert and Roeper's Video Pick of the Week is brought to you by Yogurt Raisinets. Creamy yogurt flavor. Juicy California raisins. Yogurt Raisinets.
If you've been pummeled into a state of election fatigue by weeks of dangling chads and manual recounts, the 1999 release Election will restore your faith in the comedy of dirty politics. Matthew Broderick is Jim McAllister, an uptight high school teacher who can scarcely contain his resentment of all those teenage know-it-alls destined to lead bigger lives than his. Jim's chief nemesis is Reese Witherspoon's Tracy Flick, who is running for student government president.
Tracy Flick. Tracy Flick. I've seen a lot of ambitious students come and go over the years, but Tracy Flick, she was a special case.
But Tracy's more than just ambitious. She's a tightly wound little conniver who will do anything to get ahead.
When I win the presidency, that means you and I are going to be spending a lot of time together, and I, for one, would really like that time to be harmonious and productive. Wouldn't you?
Sure.
Election might be disguised as a high school comedy, but it has little in common with the American Pies of the genre. Director and co-writer Alexander Payne has fashioned a sly and dark satire on the American political system with great performances by Broderick and Witherspoon. This is a smart and sophisticated movie filled with keen insights about the cheerful deception that dominates politics from high school to Florida to the White House, and it's my video pick of the week.
Join Roger Ebert and Richard Roeper on their floating film festival with movie screenings and lively discussions aboard the Disney Wonder cruise ship. Sailing February 1st through 4th on the Disney Cruise Line to the Bahamas with a stop at the island paradise Castaway Cay. The Floating Film Festival. Call your travel agent or 1-800-945-3806.
The December movies are coming thick and fast, so just a brief mention here of Dungeons and Dragons, a goofy and incomprehensible film. It seems inspired not so much by the game as by the box it came in. Doesn't this look like cover art?
You have the power of the immortals. You can control dragons.
The dragon army is like mine. I can crush them.
I was surprised to see Jeremy Irons in the movie as an evil usurper, but I suppose he did it for fun, and I hope he had more fun than I did.
Well, I hope he got a lot of money for it, because it's a very silly movie with lurching dragons. And Dungeons and Dragons, isn't that like over? It's like a movie based on Pong. What's the point at this
You know,
time?
what I couldn't figure out is the function of dragons in the ecosystem of this kingdom, because they basically exist just to materialize out of nowhere, fly around, and be shot down. It's kind of a...
That's their purpose.
Dismal life for a dragon. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed on this week's show. 2 thumbs down for Proof of Life, although I liked it more than Richard did. 2 big thumbs up for Pollock, Ed Harris's triumph as an actor and director. It opens in New York and Los Angeles next week. 2 more thumbs up for The Emperor's New Groove. Richard thinks it's the season's best family film. It opens everywhere next week. We split on Vertical Limit. I thought it got the job done. But 2 enthusiastic thumbs up for Stayed in Maine, which opens in limited release December 22nd. And finally, 2 thumbs down, as you just heard, for Dungeons and Dragons. So, Pollock, is a wonderful movie, isn't
As
it?
is State and Maine, and I hope families go to see The Emperor's New Groove. But Proof of Life, the really big anticipated movie, not coming through for us.
Okay, you can learn more about our floating film festival cruise at our website, ebert-roeper-movies.com, where you can also hear our reviews. Next week, more new movies, including the romantic comedy What Women Want, starring Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.